Welcome back, and now we'll be talking about the next topic of this chapter, which is understanding stress and conflicts. And this topic uh, is about the agents of socialization. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this topic, we'll be talking about right from when the child is born, what are the different agents of socialization that he has to go through. Okay, socialization is basically very important part of any individual. What type of personality he will have depends on all those elements of agents of socialization that he has undergone till now. First step is the family. Okay, when a child is born, the first thing that he sees is the family, isn't it? The first impression is always of a family. Now socialization may, when I have said there are different agents of socialization, so in those, with those agents, an individual, he learns different types of, he gets exposure to different types of things. Either it is culture, it is whatever it is. So you know it involves different types of social actors that he will be meeting. If a child is born, first interaction is always the family for the initial 5 to 6 year, or maybe nowadays, because we have started sending our kids to preschool at the age of two and a half. Okay, some of them, even before that, one and a half year into the crash. So they start learning, start interacting with people who are not family right from very very small age. Okay, so that means they have started interacting on a social level. Though the child may not be able to speak, but he is interacting on a social level apart from the family. Socialization basically involve, it obviously occurs through the interaction with various agents during individual's personal lifetime. जो भी है, whatever, could be neighborhood, could be your religious congregation where you go to, or your mandir, or your gurdwara, or your church. So you are socializing there. They are all part of your personality makeup. Why? Because you are learning something from them. Your personality is a product of all these agents of socialization. Okay, now in your whole lifetime, so first thing is the family. Let's talk about the family first. Okay, now when we talk about family, this is, family is the first and the foremost agent of socialization. It is the primary, or yeah, it is the, what happened, I don't know, something is wrong with the pen. One second. Number one thing is, I'm not able to write it properly. One second, something went wrong. Okay, let's talk about family. You know, family is the place where child gets his first interaction. Okay, his first social contact is the mother. I'm not able to write with this. Something is going wrong. Or maybe. Anyways, I will not write because it's not happening. So, anyways, I'll keep on speaking. Now, the first interaction is always the mother. Okay, and all the people, if the child is born in a joint family, there are so many people around him that are going to give inputs. They are the first agent of socialization for the child who is born. Okay, now basically correct patterns of behavior are learned by the child in the initial 5 years, where he is only interacting with the family. Okay, now they along with the rest of the family. They also teach us about how to care about others, how to lead a group life, how to share your things with others. Okay, now a child learns the values, child learns the norms, belief system is also put in proper place in the family. Okay, child also tries to learn about his own social status, his religion, his ethnic group, all these in the initial 5 years. Okay, they are very crucial in the development of a family. We have stopped you know believing in that system that the child should only be at home for 5 or 6 years. We have started pushing our children to go to creche and preschool, just so that they can be ready for the world, for the world to take on. But it is not, in fact, a good idea, because if the initial building years of the child, which is from 1 to 5, if they are very strong, the child is going to have a very strong foundation and is able to cope up with any difficulties that he may be facing later on, because he's got the secured environment. He's not threatened. He is in the peace of his house. He is under observation. He is being taken care by all those elderly people around him. So that means basically uh, initial 5 years, they are very important for. Something is wrong with the pen, I think. Not able to write. So it's very important. However, learning is done in a family. It's not a formal way of learning. It is always informal. Means, as and when the situation is arising, a child is given a lesson. Okay, it's not like book and notebook that you have to keep noting down how to behave, but it is always an informal way of understanding. If the child is doing something wrong, that very moment, parents or other people, they will try to correct him and give him a lesson, maybe a story type of lesson. Maybe if their dada dadi is there, they will tell them a story to relate it to. So even all those culture building, all these things, they happen in the family only, because there are other people who are, to some extent, they have got extra knowledge of mythology, of their own religion. So they will try to imbibe all those uh, uh, stories into the life of a child. So the child he's able to create bonding with the family members by listening to those stories, getting in the family get together. He knows that he's being protected, he's being loved by others. So these are very important things. So family life is the first agent of socialization, where uh, the child is also shown that you have to make adjustments in order to live in a family, but others take care of you. So he's not living a threatened life. Whereas if a child uh, is in the preschool or somewhere where there are other children also, so they may be in a state where their interests are not met, though they will be able to learn faster. So many things are learned in that age also, but they will still be in an outside environment. Okay, there are certain observations which are made in context of a family as a socializing agent, which I will not be able to write right now because my pen is not properly working. So the first is they learn the emotional ties. Family is the first emotional tie of a child. And then second point is, family has the greatest impact on socialization process, because it is the first thing that they will be interacting in their lifetime. It is the first place to learn language. If the child is born in a place where nobody talks to each other, nobody is talking to each other, what will happen? The child will also not talk. I have seen in many families where everybody is a silent worker. They don't want to talk much. They just do their work. So the child will also be work oriented rather than bol bachan. He will not be into languages. he will be doing his work. But rather, in a different family where everybody is interactive, talking, and trying to share their stories, the child will speak very fast, his language skill will improve, that child will be able to converse better and will be able to put his point across very beautifully once he grows up, because he has been brought up in such environment. If the family is able to you know uh, is a family where two or three languages are spoken. For example, if I have to take case of my own family, we we speak Sindhi, we speak Marathi, we speak Punjabi, we speak English, we speak Hindi. So definitely the children, they are exposed to five different languages at the same time. So the child will be able to learn it better rather than in a family where there is only one or two languages spoken. So that means that that family will have to work extra hard for that child to learn different language, a new language. Okay, so these are, family is the first place where most of your personality is made already before you go to school, which is the next agent of socialization. Okay, now parents and guardians in a family, they may reproduce a positive modeling or a negative modeling in a family, however they have experienced in their childhood. Okay, if the parent or a guardian had been subjected to lot of criticism, that parent will become a criticizing, that child will become a criticizing parent. So one has to unlearn few things to become a parent, so that in the future they don't do the same mistake. Okay, now if the parent had been you know if a child is born in in a family where he was not allowed to do any work, but later on that child understood that no, I have to break all these shackles and I have to just move ahead, I have to be on my own like a free bird, and I have to explore the world. Now after that child becomes a parent, now that child has learned that he was subjected to a lot of pressures, he was not allowed earlier. So that parent can go two ways: either become the parent that his parents were like, or he becomes a parent who gives freedom to his child. So these are the two situations which he will have to choose. He will have to unlearn his parents behavior, keep it aside, and let his child do whatever he does, if it is not on the wrong side. Definitely if it is on the wrong side, it's the duty of a parent to stop that child from doing that. But every child is an individual first. हम लोग उसके ऊपर थोपना नहीं चाहिए कि you have to be like this. Be free, do whatever you feel like, whichever course you want to pursue. It should never come from your parent, it should come from within. Because if it is being forced by your parent, it is their unfulfilled dream that they want to carry on with you also. They have not lived their life, they had not been able to fulfill their dreams, but who are they to tell you that you have to fulfill those dreams for them? You may have different dreams. They may not have been able to become a doctors in their life. Okay, but when their children are born, they said, I want to make my child doctor because I could not become so. Why? Your child may have a different aim of becoming a YouTuber. What will you do then? You will stop him from becoming a YouTuber, and you will force him to become a doctor. And now your child, when he will become a parent, he will tell his child to become a YouTuber because he was not allowed to become a YouTuber. So that's no point. A family is very important and very important agent of socialization, where child should also experience freedom of expression. It's very important. Next level is the school, where the child goes to the school. Now school The next important agent of childhood socialization is school. It is impersonal, and there is a environment where child will have to adjust himself, because it is not the same environment as the family. Okay, here students, they don't just learn the academic curriculum which is given to them, because in a school most of the time we say ना कि वहाँ पे पढ़ने लिखने जाएगा, but no, they learn so many other skills also. They learn how to interact with the peer group, they learn how to interact with the teachers, they learn how to interact with um, other people also, like with the peons, with other parents, so many things, you know. The student learn the importance of obeying the elders, because in their in the family atmosphere they have only understood that they have to obey their parents and the grandparents. Okay, so but when they go outside they have to understand it is the teacher also who is very important. Okay, in the school they also learn you know, how to compete with other students. They also learn how to sit quietly in a classroom, which in the house they may not do. They will not sit quietly, they may run from here and there, because child is not you know, in a family will not tell a child ki you have to sit here for half an hour. Never. In a house, in a family, the child is free, child moves from one place to another. Okay, so but in a school it is expected him to sit on a chair for half an hour, and then another period starts, he has to again go back to his seat, and till the time teacher is inside he is supposed to be there, sitting there. He is supposed to wait for his turn, and sometime, you know, he has to you know, listen to the teacher even if he is not interested in that topic. He has to be quiet. So these are the skills that the child will learn only when he will go to school. So school is the second most important agent of socialization. Okay, right? So in the school the talent competitions are held. In the school functions are held, dances, you know, different things they participate in. Okay, so स्कूल में सिर्फ पढ़ाई नहीं होती है, देर आर सम हिडन करिकुलम्स ऑल्सो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल पोएट्री कॉम्पिटिशन, सो दैट इज ऑल्सो अ स्किल दैट इज लर्न बाय अ चाइल्ड. एलोक्यूशंस, ओके, फंक्शंस. अभी इफ सम चाइल्ड, all these things, they prepare a child for their, they basically make him more confident to stand in front of the people, to lead their own life. Just imagine if you have not been to a school, you would, your circle would have been so small. You must not have learned so many skills that you have learned from school. You know how to discipline yourself when you start going to school, because till the time you were in house, in a family, you may not have a time for, you know, proper time for eating and bathing. But once you started your school, you know, you have to be ready for the school bus. You have to be, you know, pick and span. You have to iron your shirt, uniform, make your bags. You learn so many things when you start going to school. You know, at proper time you will be having a lunch break, and before the lunch break bell rings, you have to be in the classroom. So all these disciplines, they come when you start going to school, because in a family discipline is there, but not to that. It is a higher level of discipline that you learn in a school, right? You in school, then when you grow up to a higher grades, you start, you know, having your own interest in some technical, intellectual, then cultural part of the school. You start you know, developing interest in certain subject. You know that this subject interests you, you want to participate more in that type of things. Okay, school, sometimes what happens, there is unlearning that happens at the school level. Some values that you have learned as a family in the initial years, sometimes you have to rub those memories in the school, because in some families They may teach a child certain things, but when they go to school they may have to you know start accepting other things as well. Okay. Examples can be many given here. I mean, you can also add your examples to this context. For example, in a family, for example, um, you you are taught that you belong to the best community. For example, because there is a pride in that thing. For maybe you are a Muslim student or maybe you are a Hindu student, so in both the contexts you have been exposed that way, that your religion is the best one. But once you go to school, they teach you that all religions are same. Then you have to unlearn whatever you have learned from the family. Then that learning is also very important, because to be very frank, not a single religion is great. All the religions are great. This is one small example that I have given you, but this is one of the most common thing, that we unlearn all these things when we go to school. Because the way we have been brought up in our family, we have been told that we are the best, our religion is the best. But once you go, you start respecting others as well because of their different religion also. So a school, it basically opens a door to the new social world. It provides importance that society places on gender and race. School provides information to the individual understand themselves as other. Also, they are also, other individuals are also important as they are. Okay. School provides skills to function as a citizen and as a worker. School also exposes you to equality. You are equal, you are just like others. Schools are the first experience of economics and social status. Once you go to school, you understand what is your economic status. Okay. What is your social status, because then you get to see, because पहले तो क्या है, only in the family. Now you know कि the other person is what type of status he has got, because now you will start going to his house, you will see his house or her house also. Then you will understand what is your level and what is his level, whether they are above you, whether they are lower than you. So all these things we learn in the school only. Okay. School reduces the opportunities for control, and they make the child more fearless. Okay. The school and colleges, and when you go one step higher, when you enter the colleges, universities, they help the person in many ways in developing their skills, their attitude, their aspirations, you know their goals, their aims and objectives. These are many times, they help in the overall development of the child. They make the personality of the child. That is why we always choose the best colleges, because we want to live in the best environment. A child is a product of the environment, isn't it? Why do we work so much hard in 10th grade? Because we want to land up in a good colleges. We want जहाँ पे अच्छे बच्चे आए, so that we learn something from them. That is why. Otherwise 10th के marks का कोई value नहीं है. Value उसके बाद के marks का होता है, competitions का होता है. But we always give our best for 10th grade, because after that college life will start, which is going to have very good impact in your overall personality. And if your peer groups, they all are educated, they are all good, they are all from a good background, you will also learn so many things from them, right? So the value of patriotism, cooperation, tolerance, participation, all these things you learn from school, colleges, etc. The school teaches students to respect teachers, elders, and it teaches you to be obedient. Students can take parts in sports. They get to learn the sportsmanship spirit. Okay, they on the ground they learn discipline. So they expose, the school and universities, they expose the students to many things like sports also. So sportsman spirit is also very important thing, that if a person has got that sportsman spirit, that person knows how to deal with the situations. Okay, how to tolerate defeat. That's the most important thing, because we have been always taught that you have to win, you have to win, you have to win, you have to win. But every time you cannot win. Sometime you may be defeated also. But to accept your defeat and tolerate it is very important in your life. Okay, and that only sportsmanship spirit will teach you, because in this, in sports or games, what happens, only one team will win, and you cannot be always in that team, that you are always a winner. Because a person who's always a winner is the biggest loser, because he has not learned how to lose. So losing is also important. Losing is also important, because that teaches you many lessons. That teaches you keep on working hard and accept other person's victory also. School helps a child to develop his identity, his overall personality. The regular parent teacher meeting also, uh, you know, regionalize about adult education and social work program. There has to be interaction between the parents and the teacher also. Okay, next point which is very important is culture. The culture actually, we learn lot of cultures right from family and also from school. Okay, you can also join some cultural groups where you will learn lot of things, like you may start going to congregations, you may start going to some dance academy or something. It trains us how to behave in a state of confusion, how to make right decision in right time, because you are exposed to many people. If you are exposing yourself to many situations, you are exposing yourself to different training modules actually. you know Culture can transform the person and mold him or her to follow certain unwanted and outdated customs and traditions. Some of the groups of people think scientifically, and they reveals the uselessness of various old traditions, practices, custom which fasten the process of socialization. So join those groups. Many times cultural, they remind the individual of his caste, his creed, his religion, his clan, and at the same time it also um, bring forth the uselessness of caste system. Sometimes it also exposes you to that there is no point of religion disparity, religion biasness. You start questioning, your family teaching, your school teaching at that time, because now you have moved ahead in your life. The peer group, the type of friends that you have, you know they also are very important in telling you what type of person you will become. A child who enters standard 1, you know uh, will be definitely having friends from standard 1 only. Okay, so that person will teach him lot of lessons in his life. You will still remember your childhood friend even now, because you have created memories with them, you have learned a lot from them. Okay, they are one of the most important agent of socialization. Your peer group, even in colleges and university, as you go, your lifestyle changes because of your peer groups. Your social activities, they changes because of your peer group. Your fashion, your accessories, you observe them, and if you like them, you try to copy them. So everything play is important, you know. Sometime if you are in a bad company, you may land up in something, you know, bad. So it is always important to take charge of your peer group. Who are your immediate friends? So peer group, they are influential from late childhood through adolescence and also early adulthood, you can say. Okay, now you can learn how to form relationship without any adult supervision in the peer group only. When you are learning, you know, and you have in the peer group you will also learn that you can lead your life on your own without your parents interference. In the school time also, your parents still have influence on you. Okay, the peer group may encourage good and bad interest in you. They may guide you, they may misguide you also. They can guide you for good academic choices, they may guide you towards drug abuse also. So you have to be very careful, because it is you are what type of company you keep. Okay, the next agent of socialization is mass media. It is not that we get to know mass media after peer group. No, mass media is right from the family, right when you are born. Nowadays, a child who is 1.5 1 year old also is exposed to mass media, because he's having a phone in his hand. Okay, so that means apart from family, apart from school, apart from the culture, he is being exposed to mass media right from the beginning. He is watching cartoon networks, he's watching songs and things like that. So he's getting exposed, his personality is being influenced by this thing also. So mass media represent impersonal communication directed at the child. Okay, now it is a major type of secondary socialization, and to be very frank, it has now become a primary, because children, they don't interact with the family on school friends, but they interact with the mass media things more. They would like to go to YouTube and Facebook and Insta, and or on, if the child is small, they will watch YouTube games, or and you know videos which are there on the YouTube, rather than interacting with the family. So the mass media can create an influence, it can control perception of what is important in society, selecting, you know, all these things, whatever he is watching, they will have an effect on his views, they will have an effect on his interpretations. And advertising also, whatever what types of advertisement that he's seeing, they are those advertisement, they are going to manipulate his thought process. The serials or the program that he's seeing, they are going to manipulate. So they are also a very important agent of socialization. Now market, now when you go to market, you are being exposed to so many things, right? You know, malls and all, as a children, as a young adult, you are going to the malls, you are going to the marketplaces, so you are learning so many things from the market places, isn't it? Virtual communities, जैसे what are the virtual communities? Facebook हो गया, Instagram हो गया, so you learn so many things. You know, from the Twitter handle, you learn so many things on the Twitter handle. You know about trolling, how to troll other people, isn't it? Nowadays, you know, people are getting disconnected from family and peer group, and also from friends, because they are more into the virtual communities rather than being in the real world. People have started dating also on virtual communities. Okay, finding your partner also on the virtual communities. New communication technology, it allows for new and different forms of sociability. Definitely it is not wrong, but you know, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Flickr, such communities are different in that they are, you know, because they are not watching over you, you are participating in them. They will not tell you right from wrong. Okay, so traditional communities are neighborhood, your village, your family, but virtual communities are something, sitting at one place in Mumbai, you can be connected to a place in Australia or America. So this is called globalization, and this is called disappearing of borders. You feel connected to anybody, right? अभी you see Tanzania में there is a tribal brother and sister which who what's his name, Kili Kili Paul, है ना?
Yeah,
They
Kili.
Kili Paul, they have become a sensation here because now there is no boundary. They don't even know Hindi, but they had been able to lip sync all those Hindi filmy songs. So they have made a virtual community for themselves. All those Indians who are watching them, they have become viral here. But to be very frank, they don't know what they are doing. They are away from their own community, but just for fun they started with this, but they became hit. So the people who interact face to face also tend to call each other on phone, but now they don't. They may have a fan following and other things, but there is no personal attachment. Okay, ठीक है, YouTube में you may write a comment, they may write back to you, but there is no personal connect. This is called virtual community. They have built up a virtual community in India. Okay, so this phenomena of using multiple media to communicate is called media multiplexity, and virtual communities are not an inferior form of sociability. Please mind it, I'm not against it, but traditional settings are also important, because if you lose your base, your touch with your own community, uh, after certain time you will feel that, you know you may feel isolated. You see, right now lot of love is being poured on those couple, brother and sister, but after certain time, they will get, Indians will get bored, they will find something else, but what will happen to them? They would have found themselves alienated in their own communities, unless they are keeping that community also along with that. I'm not saying they may not be. This is just an assumption. Okay, so they tend to provide an informal socialization where individuals can develop social skills necessary for competent functioning, where achieved statuses and traditional constraints become less relevant. Neighborhood is also one of the thing. Nowadays, nobody knows who is living your in the next house. Otherwise, earlier we as children knew each and every neighborhood. We used to go and have kill our time with the neighborhood friends. But nowadays nobody's interested because everybody is so much engrossed in virtual communities and mass media and other places, right? You have to build, you know, a relationship, because they are also an agent of socialization, because virtual communities will not come to your help in case you are in trouble. It is your neighbors, they have to be cooperative, you have to be cooperative to your neighbors, you have to be helpful, you have to share your worries and happiness with your neighbors. you know these are important things. Religion, last point. Okay, last point, why I'm taking religion as the last point, because uh, it is a final agent of socialization. अदर रिलीजन इज आर्ग्यूबली लेस इम्पॉर्टेंट इन अदर पीपल्स लाइफ. हमें हमेशा दूसरों के रिलीजन को अंडर एस्टिमेट करके वी फील दैट आर रिलीजन इज द बेस्ट. सो वी शुड नॉट डू दैट. यू नो think that other religions are also as good, because that is their way of living. To be very frank, all are human beings. God never created religion. To be very frank, ये बात याद रखना. No God, no Bhagwan, no Khuda has created a religion. It is the human beings who have created religion. ठीक है? That you must have seen in the movie also. What, PK, भगवान ने कोई ठप्पा मार के नहीं भेजा था कि ये हिंदू है, ये मुसलमान है. But still, it is an agent of socialization, because we learn so many things. Learn so many things from our religion. That is why we make religion groups also, isn't it? Religion groups are made, satsang groups are made. So, whatever moral values, whatever good things that they teach, we should imbibe them, but never consider that other religion are less than ours. All are equal, because they are only telling you how to live. These are the ways. So how can the ways be different or bad? No. People living in Australia, they may have a different way of living than the people who are living in America, but both of them are following the same religion. Now you may ask this question. So we should never fight over religion, because even the people who are of the same religion, they live different life. For example, Muslim in Arab countries, they live a different life than the Muslims who are living in India. And there are Muslims who are living in China also, Uyghur Muslims. So all of are Muslims, but they are living a different way. They are all practicing their way, religion in their ways. Some may be strict, some may be very relaxed in their practices. Some may not interfere in other people's religion, some may interfere. So, religion is a very important agent of socialization, because from there we learn so many things. They give you set guidelines, they tell you how to live. Okay, so it's the last point here. I'm going to end this chapter here only, and tomorrow next week we'll be starting with the